Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from your host and Pure Dane, Master Propaganda, like Defender of the Fatherland. Off here to an exciting 1 vs 1 on Holland and Winter. Between these, we've got Talisman fighting for the Oberkommanders, Germany, Deutschland, the Hammer-Göring Fallschirm Panzer Division, versus in the west, we've got Vodka Company fighting for the Soviet Union. Stalin rolling out here for the 5th Guards Mechanized Corps, and we're looking here at Luftwaffe, Firestorm, and Skirmish with double infantry Obersoldaten versus motor, rifle, and shock rifle here for Vodka Company with triple infantry, including one for faster training of conscripts, allowing him to get them out a few seconds faster. My apologies for the hiccups. We got Talisman there sitting out with a not quite as aggressive start, but the Sturmpany is just looking to secure sort of vital points, and then I don't know what the Kuwait intended to do there for him actually. Certainly in some ways a less than, well, I wouldn't say less than common, it's the other common one, the one that just has you going very aggressively in with the Sturmpaniers, but Talisman is not aiming for that. In fact, it looks like he's going to be using the Kugelwagen more aggressively than his Sturmpaniers in the early moments of the game, which is certainly interesting. We got more full score there for Talisman and the Hammer-Göring Fallschirm Panzer Division. More conscripts for Vodka Company. In the south, their points being secured with Sturmpioniere and Volksgrenadiers. In the centre, conscripts, north engineers, and a bit more conscripts. Of course, barbed wire here to make it harder for Talisman to push through the compartment here, and that way, setting the fuel point further on. In fact, usually control this is to an extent linked to control of the house here, because holding this makes it a lot easier to defend the fuel point. Plus, I mean, you get obviously access to the munitions, but your tanks don't run on munitions, no do they? Almost got the northern victory point, and there we go. Talisman there with an opening. Vodka Company seizes upon it, hits the calf point. With this constant, we got Sturmpany doubling back. They also full some movement, but you can see that he just falls back as soon as anything happens. Vodka Company, I think, making the tactical right decision rather than trying to fight engagement he was likely to lose. He just does what he comes to do, and then, buggers off. So very good move there, I think, by Vodka Company. In North, Talisman's Kugelwagen being engaged there by Vodka Company's infantry being pushed back all the way there down to half health. But Talisman following up with more full grenadiers. Vodka Company aiming for more conscripts. So both players so far, they just hitting the field with as much cheap basic infantry as they can get out there and gain as much control, and of course outmaneuver the other poor sod. So there we go, we've got one conscript holding up the centre here, though there's others ready to south to support if need be. Looks like that's not going to happen. Talisman making his own push into the centre here, trying to gain the centre victory point here against the Russians. Sturmpany is pulling headcons from the south there, fighting with the Volksgrenadiers in the south, and they're caught in negative cover, so this is going to be a losing engagement there for Vodka Company. And he actually ends up falling back in the face of the Sturmpanies in heavy cover. Probably the right decision there for Vodka Company, we'll have to see. Talisman taking, that will probably be Battle Group Headquarters, too soon for a Mechanized Regiment. But I mean, it could be a Mechanized Regiment, maybe it looks. But as of late, after the patch, there's been just an overall increase in Battle Group Headquarters and infantry heavier strategies, so looks have certainly trailed off quite a bit. But it's also in part just the flak half track is a lot more useful now, and it's causing a lot more players to then aim for it. So there's sort of several reasons for that. On the south, the Talisman strikes, even in the north, though, he's losing ground here to Vodka Company. And there you go, got the Battle Group Headquarters up there for Talisman and the Hammer-Göring Fallschirm Panzer Division. With the supporting company going there for Vodka Company, that's going to be Maxims, mortars, and field guns. We'll have to see how he makes use of those and in what mixture. Could hit the calf one here from the north. He'll also get into the church and flank behind Talisman's front line, though. Already there, one squad is on the run, fleeing the Russian army. And there you go, Battle Group Headquarters done. I'm going to meet your choice of medics there for Talisman. No son of a doctor choice here. So it looks like he's not planning Firestorm. I was going to begin, going for submachine guns and flamethrowers. In fact, he's just going for regular assault rifles. Do have flamethrowers up there for Vodka Companies, and he's burning out the Germans there behind the cover of an old burned out Stug. Also burning off some of the snow in the process. Alright, now Talisman has been run off the field largely. Vodka Company's in control of the field. He does have more infantry in general out in the field there. And he can soon go for something from the supporting company here versus Talisman. Hard at work fixing the Kubelwagen, while the medics are hard at work fixing the Sturm Pioneers. Can you swing about there, wiring off the track? That does make it harder for them to also grab the centre victory point. In the process. And Talisman there, besides assault rifles, is going for the MG34 to help deal with Vodka Company's troops, tearing them down, and overall just give himself a bit more fire support. Vodka Company, more or less, almost going for the same thing. No submachine guns, but he is going for a machine gun to himself, going to provide those elements as well. Kubelwagen starting out here for the northern victory point. Conscious should be able to deal with that. Sturmpioniere setting in. And hunting down the conscripts. The Sturmgewehrs barking loudly at the Russians. Up north there, conscripts, the Kubelwagen continues. There might be more infantry being dispatched there. In fact, we already got Talisman supporting that with a Volksgrenadier squad. Maximuming up in the south, we got a few lone conscripts. There's the Volksgrenadiers, they're about to get heavily outgunned. There are two squads here with submachine guns, and the conscripts only got their mercenary guns. They will have to retreat. Of course, in the north, the situation is the reverse, as there's now a lot more infantry here than Talisman's got stuff. There's a good chance of pulling through here unless Vodka Company does something particularly silly. Maxim flying away. The MG34 looks like it's going to be set up in the church there, or maybe decide to go somewhere else. Looks like, in fact, he's going to draw away from there and maybe try to regain control of the north here and leave the centre bit open, hoping then that Vodka Company just make another run for the calf point, as that could leave Talisman a bit of a situation. Oh, what is this? We got Luftwaffe. And you could go for a Falcon Maker squad right away if you actually wanted to. There we go. In fact, he does so. Airdropping in a small squad of Fallschirmjägers. The Germans, after Crete, pretty much stopped a large pair of drops, but they'll still do the occasional smaller tactical ones here and there. That's a fun note. Consequently, they got Volksgrenadiers flying away there with their K9 and mostly guns. Oh, not mostly guns, Sturmgewehrs. And there you go, MG34 coming the flank, Sturmpies moving ahead. Fallschirmjägers could follow up here, clear out the conscripts. They're suppressed by the MG34, and there you go, the FD42s hammering away. They're pushing back the conscripts. The FD42 is a machine gun designed to support the Fallschirmjägers. Had numerous modes here. In the game, represented as an assault rifle sort of weapon. In technique, you could call it a battle rifle, though. It was sort of more designed to sort of support as a light machine gun for the Fallschirmjägers. It was a very advanced weapon in many ways, technically clever, though of course rather expensive to make. The Americans sort of managed to make something, and then I don't think quite on the same level. That was known as the Johnson light machine gun, was used by commanders, rangers, and the likes. As a little comparison there. T7 flying up the Vodka Company. Talisman actually doesn't have any count. He's got no Academy, he's got no Panzer Schreck, so he's actually quite vulnerable there to T7 left from Vodka Company. He's also now pushing with a car on the two country swords. Vodka Company, by having yet to choose a doctrine. In fact, he's digging in around the calf point there. He's feeling pretty brazen. Probably because he knows it's going to be T7 that can help him support this beachhead into Talisman's territory. But Talisman's not going to make it easy. We got an aim from northwards. We got mines attempted there, but stopped. And we got Fallschirmjägers ready at their support as well, if need be. But there you go. So Vodka Company keeping the harassment. He's going to have to launch a counterattack that's going to be successfully pushed. He's planning a tech up here. And that means, well, he's obviously going to have to delay it further because that T7 is going to force a Kettenwerfer. Maybe a Panzerschreck as well. Geballte Ladung there. Doesn't make a particular large impact. Constantly taking loss out in the open from the Fallschirmjäger. Sturmpanzer moving, there you go. We got the T7 light tank moving in. Schwerpanzer course going up in Talisman's base. That means the Kettenwerfer is going to be late, meaning the T7 is going to have more time to do what he wants here to Talisman. And the hammer going Fallschirmpanzer, and he's losing his fuel point in the south. In fact, allowing Vodka coming now to control, well, not one, in fact, he's got the northern one, though that's going to be taken at some point. So we'll have to see what happens here, but definitely an interesting split of the map here. Talisman then putting his infantry good use here versus Vodka Company pushing him back. Pushing him back. Back at base, 73rd Full making way there. Schwer punted quarters almost done for Talisman, and the Hammer-going Falcon Panzer Division. A division created partly out of Hammer-going's ego and wanting to have his own unit military. In fact, it started out as a police unit. In the old days, later became a flak regiment. And then sort of slowly expanded into a Panzer Grenadier unit, Panzer Grenadier Division. And then not even finally a Panzer Division. In fact, it became a Panzer Corps finally, with a Panzer Division and a Panzer Grenadier Division. Fun facts. So right there we got the T-70 striking, doing damage and other nasty things. It fought in Italy, by the way, actually, as a fun note there. Fixing up the truck, and there we go, like came out there for Talisman to help deal with any Russian tanks. Folks are making use of the cover they've coming provided, but the T-70 is quick to try and ruin that fun with its 45mm cannon. The T-70 was an attempt to push the T-50 and the T-60 light tanks together to simplify production. Overall, like just they had a light tank that apparently they didn't make it because it was actually particularly good. It was just because they had to make something, and so they made the T-70. That's a fun note. If I remember it correctly, I might be misinterpreting a few things in my mind there. Got a big force in the north, Maxim's conscript engineers, not by setting up the Maxim to cover the northern victory point. That's going to make it hard here for Talisman to pull through with just infantry. He's going to need artillery support or tank support to have a chance there. And there you go. Blockhouse there, preventing any further access to the victory point there for Talisman until heavy firepower is brought up. And Talisman is also going for Obersoldaten. So a mix of infantry there. Mortar out here for Vodka Company and the 5th Guards Mechanized Corps on the south. We got the Kuhlwagen nurses, the country, got the T-70 rolling in. Folks with engineers back here, reinforcement, healing going on. Obersoldaten almost done there for Talisman, and there you go. He's going to lose the Kuhlwagen here. An interesting note, he has yet to upgrade the Sturmpaniers for the Panzerschreck, the ways they're operating in here. You'd think he'd do that just to help deal with the T-70 light tank, but he's clearly not intimidated by the Russian light armor there. He is not intimidated. He is as cold as Krupp steel on a winter morning. Folks, they're fighting against the conscripts. That's going to be an easily won engagement there for Talisman. Who'll cover the conscripts, more veterans, and assault rifles, plus just larger squad in the first place. That's an easy win there. We got the T-70 rolling back. Orbital advancing their strength. Another Maxim's got 2 machine guns out here for Vodka Company, basically establishing 2 zones of don't go here, you fat fascist bastards. And with the mortar can also make it hard for Talisman to block the support. We've got the Raketner for shooting, but absolutely missing the T-70 there. That's going to cause retreat up north here. The folks actually managed to outmaneuver the Maxim. Very good work there by Talisman. Very good work. Allowing the Fighters then to push ahead and secure the victory point. Gute Arbeit. Nice tactical maneuver there. You can soon go for the Panzer IV. You could also try and go for the Yak Panzer, but I think a Panzer IV is going to be more useful. As for Vodka Company, we're still short of a doctrine and any sort of tech. So Talisman should actually be able to pull ahead here with a Panzer IV against Vodka Company T-70 as it just hunts down the Volksgrenadiers. Volksman is under fire from the T-70 light tank. In the south, Volksman's advance, we got country engineers moving in. Troops healing, reinforcing. And there you go, we got the Panzerkampfwagen there for Talisman. Engineers with conscripts pushing in. Attacking the unfortunate German troops. There we go, gunning them down. You might have to take some merch as conscript engineers to buff them up. So there we go. Good use of merch there. Merch, as always, I think an overlooked ability with good usage here of it by Vodka Company. In this case, though, just too many Germans streaming in. Plus, in this case, he's still fighting out in the open versus a unit with assault rifles. And there we go, my units rhyming. So almost worked out there for him. At least he was able to keep, some pressure up. He didn't have enough firepower long term to pull through. Also should have gotten closer with the conscript. They don't particularly fight well at long range. Panzer almost done there though. Obersoldaten gefechtsbereit there for Talisman once more, and we've got a bit of fire up here. We're getting a final land hit on the T7 light tank. And there we go, the Panzer IV sets out for the fatherland. And for whatever reasons, Hitler was quite keen on trying to stop Panzer IV production several times. First, when they had the Panther, they had to convince him not to derail all Panzer IV production to focus on Panthers. Apparently, a second time came when then the Stug 4 was introduced. Apparently, he wanted then to stop all Panzer IV production to focus it on Stug 4 production. And that one apparently took him about a year before they got him to sort of accept that, alright, maybe stopping all Panzer IV production to focus on Stugs was a bad idea. And even then he sort of set like an upper limit of how many Panzer IVs could be produced, like this month or something like that. I can't remember, things like something like 300 a month. That was like the upper limit of how many Panzer IVs they could produce. There's a little fun thing there. Got an H-16M out there for Vodka Company, a bit of a light anti-tank support, plus of course artillery support here versus Talisman. We also got here, ooh, he's using Valiant Assault. Now this is great. It's a bit of an underutilized ability here by a lot of German players, but Talisman clearly understands the value of inspiring his men to greater feats of glory. So good work there, good work there. It does help the ultimate cheaper. 70 munitions makes it a lot more palatable for what it does. Up north, fights makers will make short work of the conscripts here. The FT-42s making very short work with the conscripts. H-6 moving about. Then we got the T7 sending out for Vodka Company, except it could do with a few repairs. And we finally got a doctrine there from Vodka Company. It is shock rifle. Now the big question is going to check up, or is it going to try and play straight for the IS-2 heavy tank? T7 getting the veterans at 2 there, increased accuracy and reload fire. And will he also consider shock troops? I mean, he also has got plenty of munitions. He should A, be mining, and B, maybe considering an attack using incendiary artillery barrels to support it, you know, essentially make mess of one of Talisman's defensive positions. Back here, the reinforcement healing. H-6 moving ahead. They're bombarding the church using a flare bow from his mortar to set up for it. Very good work there. In this case, didn't of course spot that Ken if he gets off a hit on the H-6, but nice tactical move there by Vodka Company. Flare, then artillery. And we can also see Talisman is very good at keeping up pressure on the fuel points. He's not just getting bogged down in one point there. He's just constantly looking to where his opponent is weakest and hit, and particularly he's trying to, you know, harass and slow down Vodka Company's fuel income, which is really good. As it obviously focuses on makes a strategy like going for the IS-2 much harder. Plus it allows Talisman to then pull ahead with an arm advantage because again he gets fuel, so in theory he could soon go for a second Panzer IV. So there's certainly a few options there for Talisman. Also a fun fact about armoured skirts, they actually had a tendency of quickly falling off there. They didn't take much fun, and many German cruisers sort of make improvisations, you know, try and strengthen it and make, you know, less easily to, you know, fall off the tank. That's a little fun note there. Also, there was actually a second version of the armoured side skirts apparently introduced very late in the war for the Germans. I'm not entirely sure what the specific sort of differences are, but it certainly looks different. Looks a bit more rounded. There would also be improvised armoured side skirts by the Germans in case they lost some. But there you go, Panzerfaust and the T7 trying to slow it down there. Good work. Can't finish it off, but it might just convince Vodka Company to, you know, fight with it anymore. Still, Vodka Company's managed to kill most of the map here against Talisman, who needs to pull off, you know, a more coordinated assault there to push back Vodka Company's front line more, at least sort of exhaust him so he can actually then make some gains. But there you go, we got a small localized assault in the north here with grenades, machine gun hanging back, no armoured support though, no artillery support, no anti-tank support, so there's certainly a few risks here for Talisman. There you go, artillery fire quickly removes some of the steam here out of Talisman's northern assault. That wasn't even his main, or even one of his efforts. That was its own effort. That was also on the south, which is making better headway here against Vodka Company. There you go, second Panzer there, Ryan for Talisman. The Panzer IV model, yay. There you go, T-70 with assault gun support, bit of infantry sneaking about, plus the Maxim up there. Fallschirmjägers, Panzerfaust and the T-70 light tank, and machine gun each retreat before Vodka Company steals it. And again, the lack of armoured support quickly becomes evident. Like, if he'd had one Panzer IV, they'd be doing decent. I think if he's been able to push up both Panzer IVs in a reasonable sort of timing, he could probably just secure most of the map. But instead, as we saw there, the MG-34 fell into the hands of Vodka Company in the 5th Guards Mechanized Corps, leaving the hammer going Fallschirm Panzer Division without any suppressive firepower. But there he goes, pushing him with the Panzer IV Snoke, the way he's attacking. It's a pincer maneuver here, looking to catch a bit of guard there, hoping there's no mine, so this is actually a bit of a risky maneuver, but Vodka Company so far has been pretty weak with mining, so you know, it makes sense, but it is a bit risky there. Had he mined, you know, that could easily derail him, but overall the assault pays off, I think, quite magnificently. The speed and the blitzkrieg spirit here, just overwhelming Vodka Company, taking out his assault gun, almost even his T-70 light tank there. Could even push back the machine gun to secure the northern areas. This was overall, again, a risk, but I think a calculated risk there from Talisman that paid off quite nicely, knocking out two of Vodka Company, in fact all of Vodka Company's light vehicles. So very good work there by Talisman, very good work. And certainly highlights that Vodka Company needs to begin mining. He really needs to begin mining. I mean, he's got so many munitions. He's found a Barometer anti-tank and he's clearly stalling here for the IS-2, but in the meanwhile we can see the Talisman is just causing havoc with his now veteran 2 Panzer IV. Oberleutnant Müller is on the job with his Panzerkampfwagen. Talisman boy could consider laying down flat emplacements, you know, to help hold some of the points here versus Vodka Company. And there you go, got the IS-2, the Josef Stalin 2 tank out here for Vodka Company. Promising armour and pain. And there you go, Panzer IV's tank into the conscripts. High explosive rounds, machine gun fire, they're just making short work of a lot of the infantry. And we got another valiant assault here from Milan to just quickly push ahead, secure points, and just deal damage. Good work. That's actually the second time he's made use of it. I mean, it's not like he's made use of heavy fortifications to smoke reconnaissance, but certainly just seeing some of the valiant assault is pretty good. And pretty nice to see. So once more, Vodka Company finds himself from back, of course, with the IS-2. He does possess more firepower. In this case, the blend Kerber doesn't particularly help. That's the IS-2 just races forward. We've got like Kenneth hanging back, shoots, misses. Oh, actually fails to penetrate. He probably needs to retreat that before the IS-2 annihilates the crew. That was pretty lucky there. That was incredibly lucky. Almost getting in there. Also, fun fact, the handles then the side of the IS-2's turret are actually there for Soviet infantry to hold on to, since they were very much designing the tanks increasingly with the infantry riding along in mind. That's not to say the Russians only did, in fact the Germans increasingly did a lot. But the Russians actually designed the tanks with it in mind. So that's sort of a little fun note. But the Germans did it as well. In fact, there's plenty of pictures of some of them riding along on Stugs. And that was commonly used as an infantry tactic there. We've got IS-2 there versus the Panzer IV though. Need to be careful. We've got Panzerfaust off. Ooh, fails to penetrate, and the Panzer IV there needs to get away before it gets knocked out. Schnell, Rückzug, Blitzkrieg. Falls back fast for the fatherland. And the other Panzer IV seems to be running back here. In this case, to cover the flank up against any infantry infiltration. Match him secured. So at least Talisman's managed to gain himself a machine gun, but there's a lot more going on there from Vodka Company. Troops reinforcing, healing. Panzer IV in need of repairs, and the second one will also likely end up needing it soon. At this stage, Talisman might want to consider Jagdplan to help deal with the Vodka Company's IS-2. In theory, he could try and aim for a Panther. It's also flooding a lot of manpower, so I mean, flag emplacements could be an idea. Fixing out the Panzer IV. Got the Indy for covering, but it is in negative cover. Which does make it easy for the fighter makers to clear it out with the FD-42s from inside the church. So there you go, that machine gun crew found themselves obliterated. The Vodka Company is being suppressed. Might disagree a bit with that assessment. Pushing it with the fighting makers, so there's an IS-2 right on the other side. They might get themselves a bit of a surprise. Alright, go in and send me surprise him as he... Oh, scheiße, never mind. You're too slow, Fritz. Too slow. In fact, it might have been for the best there. They could have suffered pretty heavy loss instead. We got an attempt to... Oh, Blencover. In this case, just to cover the retreat, I think also cover the Kedmev's current center victory point. Good use of Blencover is actually a Talisman. It is another overlooked ability there. So nice usage over there by Talisman. He's flooding a lot of resources. It does seem like he's aiming for the Panther, but he's got a bit too much to go for it. So the question is, we're going to keep at it. It's going to try and play for a King Tiger instead. Well, is in fact playing for a King Tiger, in which case you go for the mechanized regiment. And there you go. Orbs on the retreat as soon as the IS-2 appears on the scene there. Murdering away there with high explosive rounds and the Disca Pendlemat machine gun. Panzer IV falling back. Also, fun fact about tank riding, but the Relic had apparently planned to introduce it during over the Western Front armies, but apparently they had to cut it out because they couldn't get it to work or something. But would have been fun if they actually been able to introduce it. Would have been fun, and I kind of hope they get around to introducing it in Company of 3. SM6 on the way there for Vodka Company, so it's going for a bit of support there for size 2 good. Not trying to take up though, but I mean, there's the Panzer IV, you probably just need the SM6 there, not so much an Issue 5, though that would also be helpful. 1,000 manpower there, and it's clear it's aiming for something big there, and it's just a bit limited. Okay, Valiant Assault again. That's the 3rd time in this match, impressive. But Kenref there hiding under the flare. We got veteran few for the Panzer IV though. Going after the IS-2 there. Need to cover. We also got the SIS-3 supporting. Good hit there on the veteran Panzer IV crew. Up north though, another push here is not having the particularly best results with our armor support. We got the Maxims to country there, thwarting Talisman's northern assault. And there you go, got the F-6M number 2 for Vodka Company and the 5th Guards Mechanized Corps in the south here. Fult's going to suppress, getting away. The Panzer IV's pulled back for repairs, and he's still yet to upgrade his steel pioneer squad. No Panzer VI. No minesweepers. And there goes, actually lost enough. He can actually go for a Panther now. Panzerkampf Wagen 5, and he's still got 600 manpower. And Matt, fuel to spares again. Flag emplacements could be an idea that they would allow him to help hold some on the ground, and they're actually kind of good now. Just the basic now, in terms of damage output and accuracy, the flak half track, which is actually good as well. So I mean, a flak emplacement for some around here could do a lot for them. Panther on the way there. Almost done. Khan's getting bombarded here with the 2 Panzer IVs. They are not having a fun time. Got the 6 opening up, and Panther almost done. Almost. Looks like he suffered some further losses, maybe an actual wipe. But there you go. Panther out here for the hammer going Falchion Panther to be sure, giving him now 2 Panzer IVs and a Panther. That is a lot of tanks here for Talisman. That is a lot of tanks. Also means he's got a lot of firepower. Also noting, Vodka Company's finally beginning to lay down mines. That is good for him. That is really good. He should be doing that though sooner. But if Talisman hasn't encountered any mines, doesn't expect it, it could cause him to make a mistake. Though we do have mines from up north of the ice, 2 strikes forwards again, displacing the orbital dart and opening up for the match and the game the victory point there. Got the Panther heading northwards, the 2 Panther 4s splitting up on their own. Quickly spreading out his armoured assets across the field. I mean, it helps him in defending, but doesn't particularly help him on the attack versus Vodka Company. Back here, healing reinforcement going on there. And a quick strike from the Panther 4. Oberleutnant Müller strikes again for the Vaterland. Though he gets struck as well here by the Issue 6 and the conscripts. But he gains veteran 4 on the Panther 4. That's pretty big though. That's a lot of accuracy bonus he's able to pile up there. Issue 6, we got the Panther arriving, there we go. Penetrating hit from the Issue 6, turns, shoots and hits back. Second shot though bounces off the 80mm of sloped armour off the Panther. There's 2 merrily rumbling about there in the centre of the map. So the question is, what is Talisman planning here versus Vodka Company? What is he planning, and what is Vodka Company planning? I mean, he should try and push back against the opponent, he should try and gain better positions, and that will force Talisman further into defence. So, I mean, right now he's basically opening up for Talisman, attacking him and destroying him, or at least doing some damage. Pushing the centre, they're not quite working out here. Talisman's assault is repulsed with heavy fire, though barely any losses. In the north, we've got a bit of lighter movement here to try to hit for the northern victory point, and you just try to cut off the resources there. There you go, Panther 4 to in the south, 27 kills, slowly approaching veteran 5 and the ace status. Conscripts under fire, Panther supporting, and they're constantly getting absolutely annihilated on the other. The veteran 5 or 4 Panther 4 there is highly lethal now. Good rate of fire, but also thanks to the veteran 2 and veteran 4 bonus, very accurate. It is incredibly accurate. And there goes from 6 moves in, gets a penetrating hit, and we got another valiant assault here prepared for Talisman and the Hammond Girling. Again, Lance is quickly just make bursts here with his infantry attacking here and there and doing a lot of damage. Got veterans 3 fights makers with a bomb grenade off against the conscripts. We could see a wipe, then we could see a wipe, and boom! Annihilated! In the centre, troops pushing forward, getting suppressed. We got Orbison bundling off a grenade on the field gun, but might get wiped here. And we got the armour attacking him, but there's a minefield. Oh, it's Panther straight into the mine here. Panther 4 with already damage, suffering a damage to implement a tank grenade. He's rushing in there. He sees an opportunity, and then he hits another mine with his Panther. Oh, scheisse! This is going completely wrong for Talisman. He lost his almost ace Panther 4. His Panthers suffered huge damage. He's only got the veteran 2 Panther 4, and that one's taking heavy damage. We've got the Issue 6 now flanking up behind. Conscripts pushing in. There's like Kedner forgot one. Good lord, it's a massacre. Panther down. He's down to just a Panther 4. He's going for another Panther. He's got plenty of manpower. He can replace some of these losses, but good lord, this is just a brutal beating. And there we go, the Panther 4 is down as well. That was a crushing blow to Talisman. He just lost all of his armour. And, you know, a lot of it veteran armour. Those are going to be hard to replace losses. The Talisman has been able to hold on to the other map there. And Vodka Company does need to be faster but actually pushing out. And that does seem to be the one thing he doesn't do, because in part he's not got a lot of infantry. So even these losses, Talisman might have a slim of hope here. But we got shock troops now on the way. If like he's too slow and push out and actually grab as much of the map as he can here versus Talisman, then Talisman might just have a chance here. So if Vodka Company's fast enough, he could actually seal this game pretty fast, I think, versus Talisman. But he's too slow though. Talisman might still have hope here. And so far he is not pushing very hard. Second Panther out there for Talisman and the German army. Will it suffer the same explosive fate that its predecessor suffered, or will it be doing a bit better? Watch and find out. Well, Vodka Company is playing it very passively again. He's just had a huge victory. He's actually got a larger force than his opponent, but he's not quite actually capitalizing on it. Forces are taking heavy damage. Heavy damage being pushed back there. Blend curve. They're good use of blend curves by Talisman. Good use. Using the Panther and the blend curve to quickly sneak in a surprise hit there on the IS-2. Good work by Talisman. So despite all these losses, Talisman remains on the initiative, despite having a smaller force, and keeps pressuring Vodka Company. It's pretty brazen, pretty bold. But the way Vodka Company is playing, it seems like he's able to put it off impressively enough. Vodka Company needs to get aggressive, and he also needs to consider spending some of his resources, taking up, going for some T-34s and other things, But he needs to push back. He needs to get on the offensive. Up north there, shock troopers obscuring themselves in the face of the Fallschirmjägers, trying to draw them in close, and for some reason it seems like Talisman is either not paying attention or he actually buys into it, allowing the shock troopers to get close to the Fallschirmjägers, so they are veteran 4. This is going to be rather close, in particular since the shock troopers are veterans in North. In this case it works out here, though, for the Fallschirmjägers, veteran 4 by the way. Nice use of tracking nearby by Vodka Company. Learns a neat hit there on the Panther. He's also approaching the T2 down the IS-2 heavy tank. Got the Raketenwerfer out for Talisman. And we got the IS-2 heading northwards on his own. Got the Panther moving up there as well. We got Volksgun in this orbital on there in tow as well. But there you go, heavy hit on the Volksguns. Well, this we got airborne assault here, calling in air support to drive away the Russian tanks and infantry. There we go. IS-2 takes a hit there from the Panther. And there you go, Kanonenvogel hits on the IS-2, not doing a lot of damage. Another series of strafes. More hits from the Panther on the IS-2 by now veteran T2. Looking a bit rough there for Vodka Company. He's falling back with his IS-2. He's also taking up there, going for the mechanized armor company finally. But it really does feel like he's being a bit passive here versus Talisman still, who can in theory soon end up going for a second Panther. Better finding up north, also on there using the blend curve to hide from the Maxim. Again, overall he's been making tactically very sound uses of the blend curve grenade. Probably more than I've seen any player using, well, forever. And while coming following up the T-76 to support, T-34-76 there, to support his other vehicles. Very good choice there, I think. Could also allow him to quickly just push down and then force off some of the troops down the south. IS-2 still receiving repairs. More infantry presence in the north. Panther just waiting for a target. In the centre, the Volksgun is getting obliterated by the IS-6. There you go, T-34 arriving there for Vodka Company in the 5th Guards Mechanized Corps. Grab the southern munitions. Got that Panther setting out. T-34 setting out. And there you go, quickly being inked by the Panther. We got a second Panther on the way for Talisman and the Hammer going forward to Velocity John. We're going to have 2 Panthers. That could actually be a headache there for Vodka Company. And would certainly, I think, qualify as a bit of a punishment there for him just being a bit too passive, too defensive. Even as Talisman lost a lot of equipment there. So now we got 2 Panthers. The first one did get heavily damaged now. And he's coming in here with a lot of armor. But he's not pushing very hard for the damaged Panther. And in fact, could be allowing it to get away, which I would sadly say constitutes a bit of a mistake there by Vodka Company. Another Valiant Assault, though. He's just consistently using it. It's impressive. It is very impressive. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use Valiant Assault this much during any fighting companies too. So I'm pretty sure Talisman just ran with a record there. Up north there, the assault though, however, Valiant is running into issues with the machine gun from the likes of the blend curve. Once more proves helpful. I mean, it's absolutely amazing how he's using the blend curve so expertly. Absolutely outstanding work there by Talisman. Vodka comes flying up with another T-34 from the 6th there. Got the Panther flying wet and the T-34 from the 6th. So how is going to use his double Panthers now versus Vodka Company? Because he's still got a lot of armor as well. In fact, now he's got the armor edge in terms of raw numbers. Plus, he's got eventually 2 eyes too, though. Talisman's clearly not intending to be intimidated by that. Alright, Fritz just remembers the secret sector dealing with Russian armor. There's the weak point everywhere. Excellent. But there you go. T-34 sneaking behind like Kenner trying to do damage, but struggling a bit. Let's get around. We got air incendiary called in here. Got more assault guns. We got the second Panther moving up as well here. Oh dear, oh dear. T-34 taking from the Kenner front on H-16 moving in. Damage as well. In fact, he's repaired not a lot of his armor, making it very easy for Talisman's armor because he's actually in a good state then has been repaired to clear it out. So this could actually be a bit of a tactical error there by Vodka Company. In fact, a big one. He needs to actually pull back with him before losing anything to the Panthers and feed some more experience. There you go. Oh dear, the H-16 could be feeding a lot of it to here and almost got it. Needs to use the IC, I think, to cover up, and might that be possible? Oh dear, he might actually end up losing the eyes too. Main gun is out, main gun is out. He needs to lay down the smoke screen with his mortar. Quickly, Petrov, smoke! Oh god, it's everywhere inside the tank. I need it outside. Oh. So there we go, got a Vexy 2 Panther and a Veteran not. That was definitely not the best extra sort of Vodka Company at the info support. He probably could have pulled it off better. So that was a rather solid tactical victory there for Talisman, knocking out an IS-2 and a T-34. And not losing a single tank in the process. That could be really big problems there for Vodka Company. Plus we've got a new fighter maker squad on the move. Apparently lost the other one. I think that was to an IS-2 actually. Quite a wipe there. So what will Vodka Company do now? Will he try and aim for another IS-2? He's going to go for tank destroyers, small T-34s. Need to fix up the Panther. Veteran feet on the Russian MD-34 as the German Maxim pulls out as well. He could try and use sustained fire here for a bit of extra fun. But there you go, Panther moves up, other Panther almost good to go, but still needs a bit more work before it gets to go ahead. Moving ahead, the 8th assault gun there for Vodka Company. And then moves it back. And there you go. The veteran Panther crew good to go. Oberleutnant Meyer setting out for the fatherland with a regular Panther on the way now for Talisman. Feeling pretty confident that just 2 Panthers. He aims for a Panther would fight a bit more specific anti-infantry support there. Definitely not a bad idea. Panther 4 roughly halfway done, all on them being suppressed. Again, blend cover to the rescue. It's amazing how just consistently he uses it. And it's just out of this world. He might just be the Dave of Oberkommando West players. Still punch moving head straight to the Maxim. Oh, the MD-34, never mind. Also cash there for Vodka Company. They're rather late, I think. Rather late, but clearly that's intent to support a push for the nice. There you go, Panther moving ahead. This time, though, he's clearly being more cautious about the potential of mines. And there you go, his umpteenth valiant assault. So many valiant assaults. There you go, Panther with the T-34 Supremacy. There we go, almost got the T-34 Supremacy there. Panther number 2, Veteran C1. Almost got the T-34, does escape, it does escape. He almost got the MD-34 with his Panther's machine guns. And the first Panther is halfway to Veteran T3. Back here healing reinforcement. He's down to just Stiompani as far as he makes a few Fulch Grenadiers. The Vodka Company's actually got less infantry, and that's actually a problem for him. That's just going to make it hard for him to affect the battlefield. So he should definitely replace some of those losses, but he's clearly also focusing just going for another IS-2. And the thing is, though, he's running out of victory points. It's not necessarily something he can afford. Got 1 Panther 4 with 1 Panther moving northwards. No infantry, though. Panther being left in the centre. When you're just being greedy, trying to have as much territory with as small a force as possible, at least in minimal. Oh, there we go again. Another valiant assault. I'm looking here to clear out the machine gun up north here. That's a Maxim. Almost got it. Looks like Vodka Company's been paying attention. We got field gun moving in. There we go. Gets out the Maxim just in the nick of time. In the centre, Panther dealing with the conscript plus Stiompani supporting here. They're getting suppressed by the MD-34. He's almost at defeat with the Stiompani, but actually pop a concussive grenade. Church collapses in the shower of splinters and storms. And there you go, veteran defeat for the Stiompani. It's IS-2, number 2. Alright for Vodka Company. But he's down to 36 victory points. And there you go, concussive grenade successfully pushes back the conscript, defending the centre victory point for North. Now, up north, Fallschirmjägers with an orbital light machine gun, by the way, fighting against the T-34, supported by a Panther. Got the Panther moving ahead, they're knocking out the S-Unit 6. Nice strike there by Talisman, though he's going to need some armor support up north here. The orbital dart, or the Fallschirmjägers, I mean, being wiped out, and the Panther 4 cannot fight that on its own. Not with the field gun there, but there you go, Panther flanks in. 12 points left for Vodka Company. 12 points. 6 points. 3 points. Panther 4 down. Fallschirmjägers being airdropped. 2 points. Right on the centre one. 1 point. 1 point left. And there we go. GG, game over. A loss for Vodka Company. A victory for Talisman. A victory for Germany. Somehow it actually involved Panthers, though they are Oberkommando West Panthers, they can hit the field faster. But there you go, a brutal slaughter here on Holotny Farm. I actually thought it was game over for Talisman there with the he lost to 2 Panzer force and a Panther in that really ill-conceived assault, but because Vodka Company was just so slow to actually get anything done, he just sort of did that really gave Talisman enough time to rebuild his forces and push back. So that was really, I think, a critical mistake there for Vodka Company, which allowed Talisman just get back on the field there. But otherwise, really good usage of the Oberkommers, great use of the blend cover, great use of Valiant Assault, really good use of the Doctrine. They could have used, I think, some flanking placements in there. And even good use of his armors. I mean, really well played by him. Vodka Company also did well, but there were issues with the infantry, and again, issues with them being aggressive enough. So I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it. If you did, why not subscribe to your friends? Share it with everyone. If not, send in replay and some feedback in the comments section. And if you like what I do consider donating or pledging on Patreon. The links in the video description. This is Imperial Linking. Cheers. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you all tomorrow for another Sonic episode. Bye.